Hi, I'm Danny.
And I'm Diane, and we'd like to welcome you to
Last Orders. Hi, I'm Danny.
Hi, I'm Diane.
And we're back with Last Orders. So, we'll start with our drinks.
Okay.
I have the Bulmers cider, crushed red berries and lime premium cider.
And I have the Thatcher's Rosy cider, which is a sweet and sparkling cider made with dessert apples.
Oh, very nice. And I have noticed on here, it does say there is no artificial sweeteners, flavourings or colouring in this, just to make you feel like you're having something a little bit healthier. Maybe.
Okay. I can't actually read mine because I haven't got my glasses, but I'm sure it's absolutely perfect.
Wow.
Smells lovely. And I have been craving for the weather to get better, and it has finally got a little bit better. So
cheers.
Cheers. Cider time it is.
That's really nice, actually. It's very refreshing. In fact, talking about the weather, why have you brought me down in the cellar when it's actually nice and sunny outside? I have my glasses ready, cider ready, and then you've brought me in here.
Okay, so today we're talking all things beer. So I thought we should come down to the cellar. I thought people might quite like to see the cellar actually as well. It's not a bit of the pub that most people get to see. So our cellar, we have plenty beer in here. 9 out of 10 pubs, drinks served in pubs are some kind of beer or ale.
Right.
So I thought I'd come down and talk about this. Actually, it's not the beer as such, because we're going to do that sometime in the future with Trev, our expert on beers and ales. But no, I wanted to talk about prices of beer. It's quite topical this week. Everyone, I think probably every pub in the country has increased their costs this week.
Yeah, and I think I can say on behalf of all the staff, whenever there's been like prices going up, the amount of people who complain about prices going up, and you're stuck there. There's nothing. How are you meant to respond to that as staff members? Because in the end of the day, we don't want the prices to go up, but
well, this is why I thought I would bring us down here and explain a little bit, because our prices are going to be going up, and they're probably going up more than they've ever in the last 10 years gone up. We've been in the habit of putting 5-10 pence on a pint. That's kind of been the standard. And I think pubs across the country are adding 20, 30, 40, 50 pence onto the cost of beer at the moment. And I wanted to explain why that is. We're not being greedy. There's a reason for it.
Okay.
So
do tell, what is the reason?
Basically, people come into the pub and they think, last night we had a great night in here. Last night we had a fantastic band. The Misfits were on. The pub was jumping. It was great. And people probably think I'm coining it in and I'm making a fortune. And now she's been greedy. She's adding more money onto the price of a pint. And that's just not the case. I brought down beside you, there's a glass. Yeah. So I wanted to do a little bit of beer maths with you today.
Okay.
I know it's not your strong point.
No, as a dyslexic, maths is not my strong point. But if it's beer maths, maybe I might do a bit better with that one.
Okay. So the kind of we're working on averages here. Okay. I'm not about to disclose my full accounts to everyone across the internet, but we're working on averages.
Okay.
Industry averages and averages for our sales.
Right.
Okay, so if you're got an economics degree and you're thinking, well, this doesn't add up. It does. It's just that we're working on averages. Okay,
right.
This is for the common man. Okay, we could get into it and we'd be a 3-hour lecture, so that's not what I want to do. So £6 a pint, that's kind of like what we're looking at across the UK on average probably now, for a premium lager.
Right.
That's your drink of choice.
Yes.
Okay. So I've given you £6. Right. I'm very generous.
Thank you.
Okay. So if I top this up and I sell you a pint, how much of that £6 do you think I'm getting? in my pocket. What do you think? I did this with the staff the other day. It's quite interesting. See if you know any better.
Well, there's obviously it's going to be a price change when you get it to then selling it like naturally with anything in shops and bars and stuff. So it's £6 and maybe take it down to about maybe £3.50.
Well, I get $3.50.
Yeah, have that.
Oh hell, I want to work in your pub.
Why?
Okay, right. Well, let's have a start. I came to the
Okay.
cellar so we could see the barrels. So, in order for me to sell beer, I have to buy it in the first place.
And quite a lot as well.
So if we're talking about a sort of premium lager, we're probably on average looking at about £180 a barrel.
Right.
Okay, so if it's £180 a barrel, that works out at about £2 a pint.
Okay.
So it's going to
£2.
cost me, I need to pay £2 to the suppliers for the beer that's in your glass.
Right.
And then, lo and behold, our lovely government take another 40 pence, 20% of that from me
Right.
for VAT
So 40
tax.
pence in here.
So another 40 pence goes into the glass.
Hang on, find me the 20p. Oh, there we go.
Okay. Right, so at the moment we've got £2.40 in there. That's paid for my beer. Okay, the beer
Right.
is now in the cellar.
Right.
All
Okay.
right. But is that enough?
I'm guessing not.
No. So in order to get the beer from the cellar back upstairs through these lovely hoses behind us, we need to have some beer gas, and you also need to have beer gas in your drink in order for you to enjoy it.
No
So
one
we've
likes a
got
flight pan.
gas behind us. So the beer gas, that's about another 10 pence per pint.
Right. Okay.
Okay, that adds the fizz into your beer. Have you ever had a flat pint?
Oh yeah. No, I don't like it.
No, so we need
Don't think
that.
anyone would.
We need that. It's essential. Okay, so we've got the beer gas. All right, and then unfortunately for us, there's also some spillage and wastage costs. So I mentioned these lovely pipes behind us that transport the beer from the cellar upstairs. They need to be cleaned, and they get cleaned once a week, get thoroughly cleaned. And there's a wastage element in the pipe. So these pipes are full of beer, and when we clean them, that gets drawn out, and the pipes get emptied, the beer gets thrown out. So that's one part of the spillage and wastage.
Wow.
There's also the bar staff, and we have really great bar staff.
Oh, yeah.
They're really well trained, but it's inevitable when it's a busy Saturday night and you're pouring, especially ales, especially cask ales. Depending on how they've been conditioned and the temperature and just a whole load of other things, because they're a live product.
Yeah.
Then you quite often see people pouring and the spilling over the edge. So we've got some costs for spillage, and unfortunately, and I double checked this because I thought our staff are really good. That can't be right.
Yeah.
It's about 30 pence a pint.
Right. Okay.
By the time you add line cleaning, spillage, wastage,
my
you know,
God.
when people come to the bar and they're standing in front of the Moretti sign and they say a pint of Moretti, and then they can say to you when you pour it, oh, it was Cruz Campo I wanted.
Oh.
You know, and you have to take that pint and throw it away.
Bane of my
That's
life.
our cost. So,
30 pence.
30 pence in.
It's getting a little
Okay.
bit light. This.
So, where are we now? So we've got the beer in the cellar, we've got the gas, we've taken account of the lines and the wastage up there. We actually need somebody to pour that drink for you. Maybe we could do away with them, get customers to help themselves.
No. That would be carnage.
Because they're a big cost. They're an essential cost. I'm only joking. We really love our staff and we need them. But staff in an average pub costs about 20 to 25% of takings.
Right.
Why the difference? 5% difference depends on whether you're a wet-led pub and you've just got someone standing behind the bar, or whether you're serving food.
Right.
So if you're serving food and you've got waiting staff, that's an additional cost.
Yeah.
So we have waiting staff. We also do quite a lot of events, bands and sports and things like that, where we need staff to go and collect glasses, bring them in.
And extra staff on those nights as
Sorry?
well. Extra staff as well.
And extra
on those
staff.
nights.
So our costs are about 25% of takings. So 25%, your £6 pint, that's another £1.50 in the glass. I'm doing the maths.
I was going
for
to say,
you.
yeah, I'm glad you're doing the maths for me. Right. Okay.
Okay, so not got
It's
enough.
no, it's not looking.
Not got an awful lot left there, have you?
No.
And unfortunately, the story doesn't stop there.
gosh.
Doesn't end there,
Right.
because we've got the beer,
Yeah.
we've got the gas, we've got the staff,
Yeah.
but we need a pub. Basically,
yeah.
at the moment we haven't accounted for the
Yeah.
pub.
Might need that.
So we need to pay our rent for the pub. We need to pay our business rates. So we need to add that into the account. And we also need to add some money in there for heating. Nobody wants to be sitting in a cold pub.
Or a cold cellar, really.
Lighting, I mean, that's all year round, really.
Yeah.
And heating, actually, which is why when we have these lovely heaters outside and it's a scorching hot day, I'm like, why have you got the heaters on?
Yeah.
So heaters, lighting, and then water. You know, so we use a lot of water in washing up and cooking and cleaning, and keeping our toilets absolutely spick and span. So we've got a cost there, and that is about another £1.40-ish.
Oh my god. It's £1. Oh my gosh. Right, 40.
What you got left?
I've got 30 pence. So you're saying that you basically, out of that £6 pint, you make 30 pence.
Unfortunately, tragically not.
Oh, for God's sake.
So we have so for this here,
Yep.
we've got the beer, we've
Yep.
paid the tax,
Yep.
we've got the gas, we've got the
Yeah.
staff, we've got the heating and lighting on, we've got the pub, we've paid the business rates,
Yeah.
we've got all of that. That 30 pence, I would love it to come to me,
Yeah.
but I like my pub to be a nice place to come to. So things like and we put on entertainment. So the bands have to come out of there. The Sky TV bill has to be paid out of there. The general repairs, which is why I get really, really angry when some complete bleep me out.
Yeah.
Sticks toilet rolls down my toilet on a Saturday night, and I have to pay 150 quid for somebody to come and unblock the drains because they're so far stuck down the drain we can't get at them, even if we wanted to. So all that has to come out of there, including replacing my famous salt and pepper sauce. Let's not go into that again. Painting the pub, clean, all of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that comes out of there. So actually, on average, across the country, pubs make about 12 pence.
I don't have the change. I'll have to give you a change later, but 12 pence is all you get
Yep.
from a £6 pint.
Yep. And I get more, but I spend it on the business. I get that £6, but I have to pay the beer, I have to pay the staff, I have to pay the utilities.
And
I
like
have
you
to
said, things to make it a nice
And
atmosphere
I make it a
for
nice place.
customers.
Now that's based on me and on my pub, and that's what we're making. And why am I telling you all this now? Well, that's where we are now. But with the budget and the 1st of April coming in, our costs have rocketed. So we've got an increase in staff wages, and don't get me wrong, I do not grudge staff an increase in the wages. If I could pay them more, I would pay them double what they're getting just now. I just physically can't. So staff wages, national insurance costs have gone through the roof, and business rates. Our business rates have gone up by £700 a month. So from the 1st of April, I'm having to find an additional £700 out of my 12 pences.
So how many pints would you have to sell to then try and keep up with these new price rises.
Well, do the maths, but if you worked on a 10 pence profit, you're looking at 7,000 pints, so about 6,500 pints extra this month need to sell, and that's not going to happen.
No.
It's not going to happen. So I have absolutely no choice about putting up the prices, and that is why pubs are having to put up the prices, not by the 5-10 pence little increase that just covers the rise in beer costs that the brewery put on. There's a massive amount of costs being put onto pubs and other businesses as well. But I mean, I do sometimes think, you know, and this is not a political statement. This is not about Tories or Labour or one's better than the other or whatever. I do think that, you know, I do wonder if this government are just trying to get rid of pubs.
Yeah, it feels like that. It does feel a bit like that.
And I understand they've got costs rising and they're trying to save the NHS and all of those things. And if we were a healthier nation and we ate better and we drank less and we didn't smoke, then there would be some savings. But, you know, I just think they're targeting the wrong place.
Yeah.
If you want to drink lots, then you go and buy it at the supermarket.
Yeah.
It's a lot cheaper. And it's unregulated.
Yeah.
You know, if you're coming in here, our staff are trained so that, you know, if you've had too many, they'll have a quiet, polite word and suggest that maybe you toddle off home. You know, which is right and well, but
it makes it a nice environment for everyone and stuff.
But I just think it's such a shame because you know, pubs are a real hub of the community, and for a lot of people are a lifeline.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah.
So
it's where you go to socialise, and I think at the minute mental health and everything is becoming a big problem, and I think just simple things like going to the pub and meeting people and chatting and just getting out of the house makes such a big difference.
Yeah.
Such a big difference.
And my big worry, you know, I mean, I'll be honest, I am absolutely wetting myself in terms of how things move on. I think we're not the only pub that is worried about this, but you know, costs. Completely lost my my thought.
It's all right, you'll find it.
What was I saying? I was saying, you know, I think the government are possibly trying to shut down pubs by stealth.
Yeah.
And that's what I was about to say. I was saying, you know, by putting up the cost, we put people off coming in.
Yeah.
And the problem is, my figures are based on the amount of people coming in that are coming in at the moment. So our percentages of, you know, some of those costs, if people don't come in and we don't sell as much, will change.
Yeah.
So we need people to keep coming in.
Yeah.
And it's not a sob story.
No.
This is not a sob story. It's just explaining the reality of things.
Yeah, it's just reality.
This podcast, not necessarily about me and my pub, it's about all things pub.
Yeah.
And so I think just we need to support, you need to support your local pub.
Yeah. And I think as well, especially like we said, I mean, you can't tell right now, but the weather is lovely. As I said, I was ready for a nice sit outside podcast today. But, you know, the weather is lovely and it's nice, and it is tempting maybe to go and say, oh, we'll just get some drinks in from the supermarket, have some drinks in the garden, it's cheaper or anything like that. But pubs have beer gardens too. We have beer gardens, and not only do we just have beer gardens, we have staff who are going to look after you. We have food on offer, drinks. We have entertainment on sometimes, and the main thing, we have other people in who makes it a community, makes it a lovely environment to be in. So support your locals, go to your locals, and still have a great time, and you can still enjoy the sunshine.
Yeah, and don't gripe about the prices.
Yeah, oh please
it's
don't.
Not our fault.
It's like you said, we're not doing it to be mean or money grabbing, just doing it to survive. And I think that's the main thing. So be nice to your staff. Don't hound them about the price. Don't go, what's that? How much? Because what can we say? So
Anyway, that was this week's.
Yeah.
So, we'll leave you at that so you can toddle off down to the pub and buy yourself a pint.
And I'm going to go upstairs because I'm freezing.
It's cold in
It's
here.
cold. Right. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my god, I can't stand up. I've got pins and needles. My legs are numb. I went to stand up to go get the camera and I can't because my legs have gone all numb. I actually can't feel my toes. I actually can't feel them. Look, because I will fall on my